Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
What's up, Jessie?
What's up, Brian?
Good to be on here with you. On this podcast, we talk about mindset, productivity, wellness. Last week, Jessie spoke about emotional intelligence, which I think is a skill that more people need to just learn about.
Absolutely.
And maybe read a book or two on from all aspects, from a personal aspect, from if you're in a leadership role or trying to communicate with your kids or family, just the ability to have better emotional intelligence. Like you said, I think would make the world a better place.
I agree with you 100%. What are we talking about this week?
This week, we are going to dive into something that is so easy to implement, but not a lot of people do. And it's mentors and masterminds. And
that sounds like a book title.
I know it does.
Mentors and Masterminds.
Add that to your list.
Yes.
Of things to do. So Jessie's going to kind of dive into the mentorship side. I'm going to dive into my experience in masterminds, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up. So I did this exercise. Actually, a teacher who I was working with at a professional development did this exercise with us because she utilizes this with her classroom. So I'm going to ask you to do something for me. If you are sitting and you have access to any type of pencil, paper, that's awesome. If you're listening to us on the go, just kind of mentally do this exercise. But what I want you to do is I want you to think about some of those people in your life that you consider heroes. Like, these aren't like superheroes, but these are people that you look to because you value certain qualities or characteristics that they embody. And you seek these people out for like advice or just guidance in any type of way. So it could be a mentor, it could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague, but just take that person and kind of visualize them in your mind. And then I want you to think about 3 qualities that these people have or embody that you admire. Okay, so what are 3 specific qualities that that person has? I can give you a minute to think about it. You do this too. Okay. All right. Well, you can pause it.
Yes. They can pause.
You can pause. It's a little early in the morning. So I'm going to ask, well, what did you say? What were some of the ones that you came up with?
Mine are independent thought. I don't know how to say it, like just a strong ownership of their schedule and a passion for freedom within their life. And the last one would be just very intentional integrity with their spoken word, integrity with how they show up to the world. Those are my 3.
Okay. So my 3, when I did this exercise, were creativity, curiosity, and zest. And so the teacher who I was working with, after she had us write down these 3 qualities, she gave us the question of, okay, so these are qualities that you value very strongly in another person that you would seek for advice or guidance. She's like, but on the flip side of this, these are also values that you embody when you are at your greatest, right? So if you are living on purpose, if you're living in alignment to your values, your core values, these 3 characteristics should line up with you. And they do for me. Like when I'm doing like a creative outlet or I'm creating something new, that's when I feel my best. I try to bring zest and, positivity and energy into what I do. Like those things, curiosity, I ask 5,000 questions all the time.
Too many questions.
And my son inherited that from me. But so it's interesting to think about that we seek out people who strengthen these values and things that we already hold really important from an internal aspect. And when we can find those people who embody these characteristics that we obviously want to have more of because it helps us to thrive, right? Then you can learn from them and you have this like synergistic relationship where you're feeding off of each other. So I did this exercise because when we think about mentors and mentorships, we can fall into a really easy trap of expecting that mentor to be your everything, right? Like it's like you being the student and they being the teacher, and you're just going to absorb all their knowledge and take so that you have something from them. But what really has to happen in a mentorship for it to be a true relationship is it has to be both ways. It has to be a give or take. So if you admire someone, maybe it's someone you work with, and you go up to them and say, I would like to be your mentee. If you're not going to offer them something in return, that doesn't seem like a very great deal for them, right?
Yes.
So you can use those same qualities to help support them in whatever they're doing and allow yourself to be a gift in their world so that you have this, it's not like you owe them something. It's like you both are receiving. So my mentor, and I don't know if I've talked about Tom on here, is Tom Stecker, who kind of took me under his wing when I first left teaching. And he is now like a second father to me. And I just love him and admire so many characteristics about him. And I think we both we engage in these conversations where we both learn from each other. And because of that, it doesn't feel like I'm indebted. It feels like we both are enriching our lives together. And I think that that's what makes it such a successful relationship that has now become a friendship.
Yeah. And that's such a great point. Like there's someone that you're seeking out as a mentor, you don't want to put that burden on their shoulders of mentor me. Like, what does that even mean? And like Jessie said, you want to add value to their life, be that, an asset to them where they want to then in turn mentor you. And they might not even realize they're mentoring you in the beginning. You just grab a coffee, grab lunch with them. And through those intentional conversations over coffee or lunch, suddenly this mentee mentorship role establishes itself, where 6 months in, they're like, oh, geez, I'm mentoring this person. And it's just such a more authentic and real way. And because it's a hard obligation. I mean, I've been asked to be a mentor to somebody, and I'm like, I don't know if I have the time for that. Like, what are the expectations from me? Am I supposed to jump on a 2-hour call with you every week? I don't even know what that means. So
I think it does just mean sitting down and engaging in, like you said, an authentic conversation and allowing your stories to kind of share. And with this exercise, it shows that your values are already in alignment. And so through dialogue and discussion, you're going to naturally unpack things that are going to allow both of you to grow.
Yeah. So
do you want to flip it to Masterminds? Which is similar, but a little different.
Yeah. So I joined my first mastermind 8-10 years ago, and it was actually a dad's mastermind with Larry Hagner, who, I became friends with over the years. And that would be a good place to probably tip your toes in there, all the fathers out there, the Dad's Edge mastermind. But it was a group of 10 guys, and how he had it set up, it was a paid mastermind. You joined. There's a lot of structure to it. Then I morphed, and I'm part of a mastermind right now called GoBundance. And within GoBundance, there's probably 350 people throughout the country. You create these little pods, these little 3, 4, max 5 people. For us, I think the importance, if you are looking to join a mastermind or create a mastermind with people in your community or friends, like-minded people, you want 3, 4, maybe 5 people, and you have to have almost like a weekly cadence. And the biggest thing for a mastermind to be successful is the accountability that everybody shows up. If people are missing, there has to be a strict rule about kicking them out, which sounds bad, but my time is as precious as your time. And we are the average of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. And so having that weekly cadence of meeting with these people, and ours is an hour-long meeting. We start out by everybody goes around the horn and gives their wins for the week, celebrate whatever they won for that week. And that could be as simple as, planning that family date. It doesn't have to be something big with business. And then one person's on the hot seat where we unpack something going on in their life. It could be business, it could be family related. And then at the last 5-10 minutes, we talk about, okay, what are we signing up for to be accountable to own for the next week? Like, hey, I commit to doing this. So 1 week from now, you better show up and say that you did that. So the accountability piece in the mastermind, but being intentional on a weekly basis with a tight group of people, and you get to learn them at their inner core, is so valuable as a human to have those type of connections, especially as a male. I think men, as we grow, we tend to kind of, our relationships, aren't as strong as they were maybe in our 20s and in our teens. So having that consistency in a mastermind to collaborate has been a huge impact on my life.
I can see the difference. Like when Bryan gets off his calls after he's had these conversations with this group of guys, like his creativity and his ideas and his generation of like, I want to grow, I want to learn. We have such great conversations after that because you are learning. They're pushing you to think differently and to move differently. And so bringing this back to what I was talking about, if you're creating a mastermind, align those value sets, right? And what's amazing now, I mean, after COVID, we've kind of become really comfortable with Zoom, and that's where you do it over Zoom. So sometimes we feel like we have these groups of friends that we've had for years and years and years, but maybe our values aren't as in alignment as they were when we were younger. And so it's okay to seek out people that don't live near you. It's okay to try to find a community base that is outside of your norm, because what you're trying to do with this mastermind is create a group that is the like you said, the you're only as good as the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, Jim Rohn's quote. Yep.
So be very sacred with who you're allowing into this mastermind, because the point is to grow.
Yes, exactly. These guys are doing, you want somebody that might be a little ahead of you, maybe a little behind of you. You don't want people 10 steps ahead of you, because then you might not feel like you're adding value to their life. So there is ways to kind of coordinate that. And one thing that's really interesting is this group has expectations of you. Like you say who you are in this group, and then showing up. And if you're not, like, they know me as a runner, and if all of a sudden I stop working out and I'm eating unhealthy, like, those aren't their expectations of me, So it forces me, even when I get a little behind on some of the things I hold myself valuable to, I catch up, because I know these guys expect me to show up in a certain way.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I would love, like, to somehow, I don't know, like, how can we help foster these mastermind groups for you? Like, we have this beautiful community with 3x5 Life on Facebook. And if you're in that group, then you obviously are utilizing the cards, and you're on some type of journey or path to, create that purposeful productivity in your life. And so maybe even through that Facebook group, being able to find some like-minded people on there who might be willing to join a mastermind group with you.
Yeah. I mean, if people want to, we have to admit we're not very active in that community as we should be. But if you want to post within there that you're looking to, hook up with a few people, if anybody's interested, it might be a good place to kind of dip your toe in the water to see, if you get any bites of others that want to join a mastermind.
And then just find that date, time that works for people, and just do a call and see how it goes. See if you mesh, see if things are in alignment. And one of the things I do with work is create questions that kind of guide deep discussion. And so I could always put up a document with some questions and thought joggers and some things that could promote some really deep discussion in those groups.
Ways to start it out.
Yeah, ways to start, right.
Yep. All right, this is this week's pod.
It is.
Until next week, spring is in the air, at least in the Northeast, finally. So enjoy your week, guys.
Take care, everyone. See ya.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning.